If shaping sourdough bread is the part that makes you panic, this video is gonna help. I think a lot of people struggle with shaping in the beginning, but once you find a method that actually makes sense for you, it can become one of your favorite parts of the entire sourdough process. So today I'm gonna show you 5 different ways to shape your sourdough bread, starting with the easiest method and working up to the ones that take a little bit more practice. I'll show you how to shape both the bâtard, which is an oval loaf, and a boule, which is a round loaf. Let's get to it. I'm using my easy artisan sourdough bread recipe, and I'll link that down below in the description for you. Now, I have enough dough here for 5 loaves of bread. I've already mixed the dough, bulk fermentation is finished, and the dough has been divided. And now I'm gonna pre-shape. Now, pre-shaping is a really important part of the sourdough process. I have my dough scraper or bench scraper here and a little spray bottle with some water. I'm gonna get it a little bit wet, and that's just gonna help so that the dough doesn't stick. Now, I'm gonna show you how I pre-shape one of these, and I'll do that kind of in real time with you, and then I'll go through the other 4 pretty quickly. Pre-shaping is actually pretty easy. You want to take your dough scraper, you're going to hold it at an angle, and you're actually going to be pushing the dough down and underneath itself as you rotate your dough scraper in a counterclockwise motion, okay? And you'll use your other hand as a guide. Let me show you how that works. Okay, I'm going to take my dough scraper, I'm pushing down and under, and then I'm rotating it around in a counterclockwise circle. I'm going to take my other hand and use it as a guide to push the dough down and pull the dough scraper out, okay? If I didn't use my other hand as a guide, it's possible that when I pull out, all that dough that I've tucked under itself is just going to come out with the dough scraper, and we don't want that, okay? So push your dough down and around, use your other hand as a guide, and what we're doing is just organizing our dough. We're getting it ready so that it will be easier to do our final shaping, and that's the purpose of the pre-shaping, organizing the gluten strands, getting the dough ready for final shaping. It'll just make that process a little bit easier, okay? So you can overdo it with the pre-shaping. If you keep going, because it's kind of oddly satisfying, you'll tear the surface of the dough, and then all of that dough that's inside is going to come out, and it's not going to be good. So once you have it in a nice round with a little bit of surface tension, just stop and move on. Okay, so now I'm going to do these next 4 pretty quick, and then we'll get into shaping our first loaf. Now, after you've done your pre-shaping, you're going to want to leave your dough sitting on the counter uncovered for, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes. And the reason why we do that is because we want the dough to form a light skin on the surface, okay? And when it forms a light skin, then when we come back and we do our final shaping, we're going to take this dough, we're going to flip it over, and the part that has formed the skin on the top will now be down on our counter, and it won't be sticky. That'll make the process for final shaping a lot easier. Now, if you're having issues with sticky dough and you're struggling with that, and you're looking at this and you're going, Heather, I could never pre-shape my dough like that because it's way too sticky, and it's sticking to me, it's sticking to the counter, it's sticking to my dough scraper, that's a different issue. And I did an entire video all about sticky sourdough, and I will link that right up here for you. So I definitely recommend that you watch that video. You probably didn't develop enough gluten strength, your flour wasn't high enough protein, or something was off with your bulk fermentation, but that video goes through the entire process start to finish. So now this dough is gonna sit here uncovered for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll start to show you how to shape it 5 different ways. Okay, we're gonna start shaping our dough with method number 1. This is the easiest shaping method that I know. It's called the Caddy Clasp, and it was made popular by a baker named Caddy, who is a really high-level baker out of the UK. If you ever go there, you should look him up, because I believe he does classes and things like that. So that could be really, really cool to be a part of that. So I've got my 5 balls of dough here. They've been sitting for about 20 to 30 minutes. So if I touch the top, you'll see they're not sticky at all because we have a light skin that has formed. Now, if shaping your sourdough makes you nervous, definitely start with the Caddy Clasp, okay? This is the one I would start with if I was really freaked out about shaping, or if I had screwed up a few loaves in the past. It's super easy. So we're gonna take our dough, and I'm gonna use my dough scraper here, and I'm gonna flip the dough over. So the surface that I have that's non-stick is gonna be on my work surface here. Now, you'll notice there's no flour on my work surface, right? There's no flour, I don't even need any water, and the dough is not sticking at all. The reason why we don't wanna cover things in flour is that we actually need some of the tension on the surface of our counter to use to work against the dough when we're doing some of the shaping methods. So you don't want want to add a bunch of flour. Also, flour at this point can make your dough gummy, and if you got any flour on the inside of the dough, the part that is sticky because it was down on the counter, then the rest of the dough won't actually stick to it, so you'll have a different problem. All right, so let's do the Caddy clasp. I've got my dough here. I flipped it over. I'm going to stretch it out just a little bit, and then here we go. This is the really easy part. I'm going to take the dough. I'm going to take the two sides of the dough. I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to stretch it out just a little bit, and then I'm going to smash it together. Watch this. And I'm using my pinkies, right, just to kind of squeeze the top of the dough together to keep it from falling apart. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the sides. I'm going to reach under the dough, grab it, bring it up, and just clasp it together. There you go. That is it. Now I'm going to pinch the sides, and this is ready to go in my banneton basket, which it would help if I actually had a banneton basket out for you guys. So here we go. Here's my banneton basket, and I'm just going to grab my dough and set it right in my banneton. Shaping method number one, the Caddy clasp, could not be easier. Now this is a bâtard, an oval shaped loaf, okay? We're going to set that one aside. You'll just cover that, put it in your refrigerator for the long cold ferment, and you are done with that shaping method. Okay, shaping method number two is also another very beginner friendly method. This is called the envelope fold. So let me get my dough here. I'm going to flip it over. You've seen me do this in a lot of my videos. It's very easy. It's very effective. I've got my dough flipped over. The nonstick side is down, and now I'm just going to stretch it out gently into a rectangle. Okay, now I am being gentle when I do this, but I'm stretching my dough. I'm not tearing it, and I'm not smashing it. And now all I'm going to do is take the bottom third of my dough. I'm going to fold this just like I'm folding a letter that's going to go into an envelope, hence the envelope fold. So I'm going to grab the bottom third, I'm going to pull it back and then up and into the center, press it down gently, and then I'm going to grab the top, pull it out just a little bit up and right on over that, just like I'm folding a letter, okay? Now I'm going to take my dough, I'm going to rotate it, and I'm just going to roll it up like I'm rolling up a burrito. Now this method is going to naturally give you an oval shaped loaf, right? And here we go. We've got an oval shaped loaf. I'm going to squeeze the outside edges. You'll see me do this on just about every shaping method, because if you don't do that, do you see this right here? When the dough bakes, that's going to come out and we won't have a very pretty loaf of bread, and we don't want that. So we're going to squeeze the edges. When you do that, you might hear a little bit of popping because you're squeezing some of those bubbles. That's okay. Don't panic. Now, even though this formed a bâtard shape, which is an oval shaped loaf, I'm going to show you how you can turn this into a round in case you would rather have a boule, a round shaped loaf, okay? For this one, I'm going to use my hands. So let me show you how I do that. I'm going to actually take my pinkies, and I'm going to take my pinky and my hand. I'm going to push the dough down and underneath itself as I rotate it in a circle, okay? So watch this, and I'll use my other hand as a guide. So it's my pinky that's pushing the dough down. We're moving it around, and I'm using some of that tension from the surface, my work surface here, to actually help me do this. If I had a bunch of flour or water on my work surface, I wouldn't be able to do this. There you go. Now I've got a round shaped loaf, okay? Very easy to turn an oval shaped loaf, a bâtard, into a round, a boule. And that is method number two, the letter fold. Now let me just flip this over, put it inside my round banneton, kind of pinch it together, make sure nothing's coming apart. And then this one gets covered and goes into the refrigerator for the cold ferment. Quick pause for just a second. If you're looking for more sourdough recipes, guides, and troubleshooting help, I have a lot waiting for you on my website, keepitsweetkitchen.com. I'll link it below so you can find the full recipes and keep baking from there. All right, let's get back to it. Now, method number three, I call this the hand in the center method. I know that's really technical. I flipped my loaf over, and now this is going to be shaped into a round. So it's going to be a boule. And what you're going to do is put your hand in the center of your dough. Okay, so my hand goes in the center. I'm going to grab the dough, stretch it out a little bit, and I'm going to pull it up and bring it into the center and just tuck it in. And I'm going to do that exact same thing as I go all the way around the dough in a circle. I'm just grabbing and pulling it into the center. There we go. Once you've gone all the way around, now I'm just pinching the surface of the dough, the seam, to kind of keep everything together. And then I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to do the exact same technique that I did the last folding or shaping method, where I use my pinky and just push the dough down and around into a circle. Now, with all of these shaping methods, what we're trying to do is create some surface tension, right? So that when we put this dough in the oven to actually bake, it's a nice tight loaf, and so it will spring up. It'll be forced to spring up. So I like a tight shaping method because I don't want to have a flat loaf of sourdough bread, right? All right, now I'm going to flip this one over, put it in my round banneton basket, pinch the seams together a little bit just so it doesn't come apart, and there we go. Our third shaping method is done. That one's ready to be covered and go in the refrigerator for the cold ferment. Now method number 4 is probably my favorite method, and it's called the burrito fold. This is also the one that we use in the bakery. This method is a little bit more structured, meaning that it's going to give you a little bit more structure inside the dough, which I think bakes up into a taller loaf. But it can be hard to do if your dough feels really, really loose. But if you've developed your gluten and you're using a strong bread flour and your bulk fermentation was right on, this is a great one to do. So I'm stretching my dough out gently into a little bit of a rectangle. Now, if you ever see a giant air bubble like this one, I like to just kind of gently pat that, because a giant bubble like that inside your bread will bake up into a giant hole, which I don't always love. Okay, so I'm gonna take the bottom and I'm gonna grab the bottom, pull it back towards me just a little bit, so I'm stretching it out, then pull it up and into the center, tap that down just a little bit, and then I'm gonna grab the sides of the dough. I'm gonna stretch them out just like this, stretch them out. And then I'm gonna bring this side over and in, and now the other side over and in. And then I'm gonna roll this up, just like if I was rolling up a burrito. Now, while I do this, I am putting some pressure on it, but I'm not smashing the dough. So I'm rolling it tightly, but I'm not smashing it. And this one is actually going to make a bâtard shaped, an oval shape. And then one more time, I'm gonna pinch the outside edges. There we go, and this one's ready to go in your banneton basket. If I wanted to make this a round, I would do the exact same thing that I showed you on some of the other methods and turn it into a round, but I'm gonna leave this one as a bâtard. I happen to prefer the bâtard shape. Now, quick note here, even if you only have a round Dutch oven, you can still bake a bâtard in a round Dutch oven. I don't actually own an oval-shaped Dutch oven, and I shape my bread almost 99% of the time as an oval, so just a little tip there. And the last and final method is gonna be the most difficult one, but it's not difficult at all. You can definitely do it. This is a variation of the burrito fold that's going to create even more structure. And I use this method when having a flat loaf of sourdough is just not an option. Like, you know, we're at the bakery, we have bread that we're going to sell, and it's got to be tall. It cannot be flat. So I'm going to create a lot of structure inside this dough. So you're going to start out just the same way that you would for the burrito fold. So you're stretching your dough out into a little bit of a rectangle. Don't be afraid of your dough, okay? You are in charge of the dough at this point. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the bottom, pull it out, bring it up and into the center, pat it down gently, grab the outside edges, pull out and into the center. Now, if we were to roll this up, that would be the burrito fold like we just did. Instead, we are going to grab the opposite corners of this dough and we're going to stretch them out and bring them into the center, one and then the other. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going out and bringing each corner into the center. Now we've got a nice tight ball of dough. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the exact same thing. Rotate. I'm creating a lot of surface tension here, but I'm being careful not to tear the surface of my dough. I want to keep doing this because it's really satisfying to watch this dough take shape, right? And it feels great. I like doing this part, but if I were to keep going from this point, I have a lot of surface tension on this dough. This is a nice tight round of dough. I will actually tear the surface of the dough, and then I will defeat the entire purpose of what I've done because all of that surface tension will just completely disappear. So I need to stop right here. I'm gonna put it in my banneton basket, pinch it all together, and this one is done. Now I've got 5 loaves here that we shaped. They're all ready to be covered and go into the refrigerator. Now I'm going to show you one little bonus thing here. I'm going to show you how to stitch your dough into your banneton basket. You've probably heard people talk about that online or seen them do it on social media, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Now, when do we normally stitch our dough? If your dough is in your banneton basket and it's kind of falling flat, then you would want to stitch it to create a little bit more of that tension in the loaf and to keep it from falling flat. This one looks pretty good, but compared to all of the others that I have, this one is maybe the only one I would even consider stitching. But you'll know when it needs to be stitched because you'll look at your dough and it'll kind of be falling all over your banneton basket. It's not holding its shape, okay? So stitching is just another way to do that. So what I'm going to do is I have the seam right here in the center of the dough. I'm basically going to just pinch the outside edges of the dough. I'm going to grab pieces of it and I'm going to pull them over, just like if you were actually putting a stitch in some fabric. And this just helps create a little bit of additional surface tension. So now I've kind of sewn this loaf shut. I'm going to grab the outside, kind of pull that in just a little bit, pinch the seams, pinch anything that looks open, grab this side, pull it in, and just pinch the seams. And now I've created some additional surface tension so that my dough isn't going to kind of open up and fall flat in the banneton basket. This is one more little secret that's going to help you to have a tall loaf of sourdough bread when you actually bake this. And that's it. 5 different ways to shape your sourdough bread. Now you don't need to master all 5 of these techniques. Just find the method that feels best in your hands and practice that one. Shaping can feel awkward in the beginning, but once it clicks, honestly, it becomes one of the most satisfying parts of making sourdough. And the more you do it, the more you'll start to understand what the dough should feel like and look like. And if you want more videos just like this, make sure you're subscribed. I've got lots of step-by-step sourdough tutorials and great recipes. I'll put one of them right up here for you to watch next, and I'll see you over there.